you, and thanks for accommodating us on short notice, since all of this is quite new. And so we inserted this ourselves into this program to, tell you what this means for the future of Lean and of Lean development specifically. So let me maybe start with what is a focused research organization anyway? This is a new kind of non-profit startup for research that has been developed by Convergent Research, which are also the ones who got to us to talk about this and to make this a reality for Lean. And this FRO, Focused Research Organization, kind is trying to fill a gap that we have between our usual institutions, which is, I mean, many of us are in academia or where, and Lean is of course producing a public good. This is why it's a non-profit and open source software. But yeah, in academia it can be hard to really maintain and develop a project, not just from paper to paper, but for a longer time. Which of course is what industry usually can do, like a larger scale effort to support that. And at the same time, we also want to work on this with a focused team of a few experts to really get this project going in a more of a startup way. So all of these aspects are combined in what is a focused research organization. And so what does all of that mean for Lean specifically? So it means that we have a 5-year mission to address the challenges we see in the major challenges we see in the adoption of Lean, both in academia and in industry, which are roughly scalability, usability, and of course, proof automation. And all of this is made possible by gracious support by foundations in the US, the Simons Foundation, Sloan Foundation, and Richard Merkin. So what does that mean specifically? And who are we anyway? So you might know Leo, the creator of Lean. You might also know that Leo is now at Amazon, but he is of course still the lead of the Lean project and of the FRO. Then there's me. You've just heard about me a bit. And yeah, together with Leo, I've co-founded this new FRO. And after the initial announcement, we've already been joined by a few people in the last month. There's Mac, he's the creator of our Lake build system, and yeah, can now work on this full time at the FRO. Many of you probably know Scott if you've already interacted with the Lean community, with Mathlib. And yeah, he's continuing his work on automation, both in your editor as well as in our infrastructure. And just this week, we've also been joined by Mark, who is one of the creators of the Lean language server that your editor interacts with, and will continue work on that among other aspects. And really, we're still in the process of building up this entire team. And so we will, in fact, be joined by 3 more people in the next 2 months. And then we can really get started. Right, so what does that specifically mean for users as well? So things you might have already seen if you follow, for example, in the Lean Zulip that we are working on in the short term are, yes, of course, we want to improve user experience. So Mac, for example, is working on making the caching of Mathlib a more invisible part of the build so that you don't have to worry about it as much as you have to right now. I'm also working, since we've been talking about error messages, I've been working on maybe one of the more confusing problems with actually just error message location, especially in partial proofs. And that is actually finished and is just waiting on more feedback if you have something if you want to give it a try. And I think one other nice goal that we should be able to reach soon is to just eliminate the need for using the command line for most common tasks of using Lean. I mean, I assume that you've all this week had to use the command line in a few times, and there should be no need in this context for that. And of course, making the caching less visible is one aspect of this. And another thing that that is currently going on that you might have heard about is that, yes, we want to have stable releases for Lean back. And in fact, we want to establish a much more robust release process for Lean than we ever had before in the Lean 3 days. And yeah, specifically the release system that Scott devised for us is that in the beginning of the month, we aim to tag a release candidate for release. Then we can test that candidate against the entire ecosystem, for which we also, like all the Lean packages that are out there, for which we also want to create tooling. And specifically, of course, Mathlib should be updated to this release candidate, and then so you're automatically testing this this release candidate if you're developing Mathlib. And yeah, after maybe more release candidates, after some iteration, at the end of the month, we should have a stable version and can that release as the next stable release. And yeah, we are just getting started with this system, but that should mean that very soon you should see the very first stable release of Lean 4 from this work. All right. So, but maybe you're wondering about our, let's say, longer term goals. So let me talk a bit about that as well. And of course, I should be careful here. I mean, we're talking about 5 years. I can't just promise things on this slide and then priorities shift and yeah, the usual things that happen in development. So I'm trying to be careful on this slide and focusing on the stuff that we've already started thinking about, that we're actively interested in as the next steps. So there's much more, I think, that will happen in those 5 years beyond just these goals. So what is in there? Yeah, scalability, I've already mentioned. So making Lean scale better to large libraries, to Mathlib, for example, of course. And that means that, yeah, we of course want to optimize how fast Lean can process your proofs. Both, yeah, if you know a bit about the internals, there's the elaborator, and after that comes the kernel that does the actual checks. And also during the port from Lean 3 to Lean 4, even though Mathlib at large got more than twice as fast from this port, from improvements in Lean 4, there have been various bottlenecks that have been identified in Lean, in Mathlib, maybe in Lean 4. We'll have to see about, yeah, which one has to be improved here. But yeah, we definitely want to work on this as part of the FRO going forward. But even apart from the specific algorithms, there are so many other ways we can make Lean faster for you, which of course, which for example means that proofs should be more incremental than they are right now. Like if you change a single tactic line, we should not have to re-execute all the tactics above it to show you the next state, right? And a quite related topic is also to make proofs more parallel. Like if you have 2 proofs in your file, in principle, we can actually execute these, check these in parallel, which, yeah, actually existed in Lean 3 in a primitive, not very robust form, and we really want to work on this and make this much more extensive in Lean 4. And then there's one more topic that I like to call recompilation avoidance. That's a bit more technical, but what I mean by that is simply on a larger scale, if you change a single file in Mathlib, it would be really nice to minimize the set of files that have to be recompiled from that single change, right? Which is a technically complex project, but yeah, now we have the resources to actually tackle something like this. And yeah, other things we are actively thinking about, yeah, we want to have a registry of Lean packages that people have been working on, both computer science, but also, let's say, projects that are built on top of Mathlib, not of all of which may want to be merged into Mathlib for various reasons. Yeah, the cloud build and cloud caching that Mathlib already provides, as I said, we want to improve on that and also make that available, that infrastructure, to other projects in Lean. The IDE experience, the experience in your editor, yeah, I think that there are so many ways we can improve that we couldn't before with just 2 developers, but now we have those resources. Documentation, of course, that can always be improved, and we haven't really even started working on that in Lean 4. And also we want to make the tooling that we probably have to develop here to make really stellar documentation for Lean 4. We would love to make that available to you if you want to write courses in Lean. Courses using Lean as well, so that you can get started even faster. And yeah, proof automation, of course. Yeah, there are many things we can do there. And beyond, there are so many, like Lean is a complex system, and there are so many ways we can improve that going forward. And I strongly believe that after these 5 years, your experience, the experience of using, of interacting with Lean will basically not be recognizable going compared with the current state of Lean. So I'm really excited for that time, and I hope you will be too. And thank you for your attention.